The ACS merch shop on bonfire.com is now live. Snag yourself some Cetacean swag so you can look good and feel good. The Science of Whales Conference Tee, available in 7 styles, colors, and sizes. Reina Ortega created this beautiful art for Ocean Advocacy 1 design, available in 7 wearable styles, colors, and sizes. Danielle Burnside created this beautiful art for Ocean Advocacy 2 design, available in 8 wearable styles, colors, and sizes. Hope, the Blue Whale, featuring artwork by ACS President Uko Gorter, available in 8 wearable styles, colors, and sizes. All proceeds go directly to protecting whales, dolphins, porpoises, and their habitats. Grab a tee, mug, tote, and mask. The American Cetacean Society was established in 1967 and is considered the oldest whale conservation organization in the world. The focus of the American Cetacean Society is research, conservation, and education about whales, dolphins, porpoises, and their habitats. The American Cetacean Society is run entirely by a volunteer board of directors and does not have paid staff or physical headquarters. As a science-based conservation organization, ACS seeks guidance from a scientific advisory council composed of experts in cetology. There are 7 ACS chapters organized by their own board of directors under the National 501c3 nonprofit status. The chapters are composed of Puget Sound, Oregon, San Francisco Bay, Monterey Bay, Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Diego. Additionally, there is an ACS Student Coalition for university students. The American Cetacean Society presents Eric Hoyt, Gianna Minton, Peter Corcoran, J. G.M. Hans Thiessen, Lori Marino, Michelle Fournay, Louisa Panampalam. Science of Whales, January 30th, 2021. Going live soon. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Conference start.
And we're live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our American Cetacean Society virtual conference, The Science of Whales, Understanding the History and Informing Conservation Today. My name is Uko Gorter. I'm the president of the American Cetacean Society. We're all very pleased that all of you can join. We have, I think this morning we had roughly 1,500 people registered, over 1,500 people registered. So from all over the world. So that's wonderful. The global pandemic has really upended all of our lives. It's impacted us in ways that we couldn't have imagined. We all had to adjust, and our organization is not an exception to this. We were forced to cancel our actual conference, which was planned for November of 6 and 8 and at the Kona Kai Resort and Spa in San Diego, California. And we had to postpone it. We worked with a hotel, and we have postponed our next conference will be in 2022. This year's conference actually will be the biannual conference of the Society for Mammalogy, and that'll be at Palm Beach in Florida. And so ours is the next year in 2022, and hope that all of us can join us again and have an in-person conference, which is so wonderful to be us all there. But this is the next thing that we could do. So you saw already some of the introductory slides, I hope. If not, let me introduce you to the American Cetacean Society very quickly. I'm just going to do a share screen here just a moment. So yeah, the American Cetacean Society, brief history. Our mission basically is protecting whales and dolphins and their habitats through public education, research grants, and conservation actions. We're really bridging the science with the general public. It all started with Meals of Millions. This Meals of Millions was an organization in Los Angeles. It's really to feed the poor for 3 cents a day. And at that point, two people, it was Clark Cameron and Elizabeth Beamy, as we called her, the bus, attended that meeting. And there were, strangely enough, ironically, they were discussing feeding possibly whale meat for the poor, the people who couldn't afford a meal. So that's... And then they found out actually the whales themselves were in trouble. This was the 1960s. After all, whaling was still continuing at that point. So Beamy and Clark searched for an organization that helps whale, couldn't find any. Only the IWC, the International Whaling Commission, was the set up for, obviously, for whaling nations. So they, to learn about my whales, they actually formed their own organization, the American Cetacean Society, with several of their friends, and started in the Marina del Rey Hotel in Los Angeles, California. So there was the first, our founders, Clark Cameron and Elizabeth Beamy the bus. These are the first officers in that time. 1967, making it the oldest whale and dolphin conservation group in the world. Then in 68, actually, we even, strangely enough, we held our first meetings at the Marineland of the Pacific. And even we got help from John Prescott at the time, and Ken Norris also gave, begrudgingly at first, I think, gave some help to our organization. So first bylaws came in 1968 to have it approved that we can regional chapters that was actually in 1980. Rick Matthews became the first president, who is actually now on our board as treasurer, and is also behind the scenes helping us out here today. As you saw earlier, we have 7 chapters right now: San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, Monterey Bay, San Francisco, Oregon, Puget Sound, and Seattle. And wonderful student coalitions in Texas, Hawaii, and now actually Oregon and Michigan. So it's very exciting. And I'm going to say a quick hello and a shout out to all the students of these coalitions who are calling in, who are Zooming in with us today. So we hold biannual conferences. We make sure that they do not coincide with the biannual conferences for the Society for Marine Mammalogy. We have a representation for decades now at the IWC, the International Whaling Commission. So the last, more recently, it was Sabrina Siddiqui who's represented us at these conferences. So it's very meaningful. It's important to have a voice at the IWC. We have published Spy Hoppers quarterly. These are, and you can learn everything then about what our chapters are up to and what the student coalitions are up to. Of course, many of the programs had to, because of COVID, had to be postponed, had to be halted. Some have continued with their meetings, however. We produce every year now a Whale Watcher, a journal, which is a printed version, a printed journal. Our last issue is something I am immensely proud of, is this special issue on women of cetology. You'll see essays from 18 women, I believe, who have on different stages of their career and in the field. Just a remarkable, their stories. It's a wonderful read, and a little bit of a history about the first women that came into the science of whales. So that is a premium. So if you join, you can go to acsonline.org. Just the front page, you can look. You can sign up as a member. It's $45 for an individual, $35 for senior student and teacher, and a $55 for a family and international. So hopefully you can join us, and you will actually receive. We'll make sure to send you our latest Whale Watcher, and we'll be working on a next issue here pretty soon. So. And that's it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I'll back to you again. Okay. Let me just, as to that's sort of the introduction, we'll keep track of the time here too. So our theme, the science of whales, this was the existing theme that we already had envisioned for our conference, for the actual in-person conference in San Diego. That theme really came about because in the past years we sensed a denigration. I hate to almost use the words attack on science, but it certainly felt that way. We recognize the importance of science in our daily lives, especially during the pandemic. That's pretty clear. But also how science informs us about whales. And lastly, the importance of how the history has shaped our knowledge of whales. I want to really acknowledge a lot of people here who make this possible. And first and foremost is Tony Bernot and Jenny Bernot. And actually the whole Bernot family is actually with me, I understood, here today. For those who've ever attended one of our conferences know that Tony and his family have been extremely helpful with video and audio needs during our conferences for the last decades. So we're immensely happy, really so happy that they can actually join us here today and help us out here. They will also record some of these sessions, and we'll post those later on. We'll let you know when that happens. I want to also acknowledge the Duncan family, who is hosting the Bernots right now. And then I want to thank the ACS Virtual Conference Committee team, Rick Matthews, Sabina Siddiqui, Cara Handelite, Kelsey Stone, Diane Glim, Joy Primrose, Jane Vanderhagen, and Shelby Kasberger. As you saw earlier too, we have a bonfire store that we have set up. So we have all your merch you can get there. Just go to bonfire.com, just type in American Cetacean Society, and you should get there. There's also a bonfire store for the San Francisco Bay chapter, so you may see that as well. It's wonderful. Then I want to, if you go to our ACS website, this acsonline.org, if you scroll down on the homepage, you can find also the link to our schedule for today. You can download that. It'll be a PDF. There's also a big yellow PayPal donations button. This meeting is free today. Of course, any kind of donation you could make today would be wonderful. So even if it's small, whatever it is, any token of appreciation for what we've done here today. We felt very strongly to make this a free conference, certainly in the pandemic years, that we have to make sure that everyone have reach a broader audience here today. We're about 7 hours. So that's quite a long time here. We have exciting hours, a long time. I'll have my coffee IV drip is ready to go. Just going to quickly sort of go over the schedule today. Our first speaker will be Eric Hoyt, and he's going to talk about allocating ocean spaces, marine protective areas. Whales are not enough. Followed by Gianna Minton, we'll talk about networking for endangered cetaceans, pooling expertise, resources, and local capacity for cetacean conservation. Followed then by Peter Corcoran at noon at 12. And of course, mind you, all the times are listed here in Pacific times, so be aware of that. So Peter Corcoran will be talking about the North Atlantic right whales and beleaguered and critically endangered species. Then followed by Hans de Wissen here at 1 p.m. From land to water, looking at the evolution of whales. Promises to be an incredible talk as well. Laurie Marino talking about whale sanctuaries and projects and scholar advocacy in action. That'll be at 2 p.m. Michelle Fournet, a very interesting talk about humpback whale communication. The anthropause, of course, with the pandemic has come less traffic, and we've noticed that in traffic and air travel. So very interesting, and boat travel. So they'll be very interesting. And then lastly, we will have a talk by Luisa Ponampala, all the way from Malaysia. She's 16 hours ahead, so she's probably still asleep at this point. I'm talking about cetacean research and conservation on a shoestring, the Malaysian example. So that'll be for today. Between each speaker, we'll have a little bit introductory video, a couple of slides that tells you a little bit about ACS, about the merchandise, about the history of ACS, and sort of that will be in between speakers. That will be followed by an introductory video of each speaker. At that point, we will meet with that speaker, except for the first one with Eric Hoyt. We'll go right into his talk. But we'll have hopefully about roughly 10 minutes, depending on how long the presentations go, for Q&A. Obviously, if a lot of people with hundreds and possibly thousands of people asking questions, we're not able to field all questions, but we'll try our best and return to sift through some of the questions that are pertinent to the talk and to do that. I want to ask you also to be courteous. There might be some issues that people have strong feelings about. So I'd ask you to be courteous, respectful in the Q&A session. And hopefully this all work. So with that, we don't have a little bit of a time reminding you again to go to our website, acsonline.org. You can find your speaker schedule there and find a little bit more information about our organization. You'll also find links to we talked about the chapters and the student coalitions. You'll find more information about there too. You can scroll down and you can find most chapters will have either a website and or a Facebook presence as well. Learn about their organizations. If you're lucky enough to be close to living to a chapter, you'll be able to, certainly when the pandemic is, we're back into some kind of normal life, and hopefully they'll have monthly meetings. Those are wonderful. Some chapters, I have to point out, have already started their Zoom sessions and Zoom meetings. So check with your respective chapters to see what they have going on for Zoom meetings. I know a number of chapters have. And I hopefully then once it's over that the chapters can go out there doing educational outreach. I know some chapters have wonderful projects, like the LA chapter has the Cabrillo Whale Watch program. It also has the gray whale census. It's a wonderful citizen science project. So support those organizations. If you want to support the chapters directly, go to their websites. And if you want to donate directly to the chapters, you can do so. So hopefully some of you can make it for the entire time. I will be there for sure. And I see a lot of people already saying hello. I'll see. I see Bert Vogler. I see a lot of people coming all the way from England. Thank you. Wonderful. So we'll see a lot of people calling in from all over the world. So welcome, bienvenue, willkommen, bienvenidos, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. That's wonderful. From France, bienvenue. Thank you, Laura. Wonderful. And Joe Olsen, thank you. Germany, herzlichen willkommen. So thank you all for being here. From Wales, that's without the H. Thank you. From the Azores. It's just wonderful. So thank you all for being here. That's excellent. It's so wonderful to see we have a global participation here into this seminar. This webinar here. It was 7 hours long. And from Sweden, thank you so much for being here. From Russia, I see everyone coming in, even from San Pedro. Mexico, thank you. So wonderful. Philippines, fantastic. Greece, my goodness. Incredible. And thank you from Tijuana, Mexico, Spain. My goodness. This is wonderful. Charlotte from Germany, thank you. Wonderful. It's incredible to see so many people coming from all over the world here. So I'm going to ask you basically to sort of tap down a little bit on the Q&A, and we'll reserve that obviously for questions. So make sure that's towards the end. Good. I'm going to wrap it here right now up.